All right, time to preview the best games of week 6 of college football. And let's start at the Swamp. Number 9, Texas travels to take on Florida. This will be 2:30 on ESPN. Currently, Texas is a 6.5 point favorite. And I think it's safe to say with the Gators at 1-3, this game certainly doesn't have the feel that a lot of people thought it was going to have.
No, the feel has definitely changed, but it's incredibly interesting for totally different reasons, right?
No
It's like,
doubt.
Texas has after the Ohio State game, they've just kind of not looked great offensively. They've struggled in some areas, just hasn't looked like you would expect it to look. Now, I do think that with how much emphasis was put on the Ohio State game and how long they've had in between that feels like it was last year, so long ago. So part of me wonders is some of that with Texas just a little bit of lack of interest, and now that they're getting into the SEC and it's going to crank way up, I don't know. It better, because I know what Florida's record is, but if Lagway can at least somewhat return to how he was playing at the end of last season, limit turnovers, I think their defense can keep them in the football game. It's just whether or not they can create anything on the offensive side.
There were multiple reports last week that Lagway was in a boot, and the Florida defense has been very solid, especially when you consider how many bad spots that offense has put them in. But they're also a little banged up on defense. So I expect Texas to be able to find some things offensively, and I believe they're expecting Quintravian Wisner to be back for this game in the backfield. He hasn't played since that Ohio State game. It'll be interesting to see how he looks if he does play and how he impacts the game. But it really is just a battle of the underachieving quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Uh, Arch, now, Arch has been better than DJ Lagway. So maybe it's not fair to frame it that way, but these are two guys that had incredibly high expectations coming into the season, and there's just no other way to say it. They have fallen very short of those expectations. Now, hey, Arch did light it up against Sam Houston a couple weeks ago, but I do you think Texas's offense is going to find a bunch of success against Florida's defense, who has been very solid?
No, I think it's going to be a low scoring football game. I think Texas's defense is legit. They're very good. And it would be a shock if Florida all of a sudden started clicking on offense. I think for them, they got to get their run game going. That was one of the biggest weapons that was talked about with Florida. Good in the backfield, their offensive line. If they want to win this game, I think they're going to have to win some battles in the run game. And then I think it's going to have to come on chunk plays. If Lagway is healthy and ready to go, he's going to have to get out, create, run around, scramble, create some chaos to find some big chunk plays against Texas's defense, who's very solid on all three levels. But I think it's got to start in the run game for Florida.
The interesting thing about Florida's run game, it's an outside zone run game. And when you look at Texas's defensive line and how stout they are at defensive tackle, I think the outside zone run game is the best way to attack Texas's defense. Now, they've got good edge players too, and they got some backers that can really run, man. But if Florida can find a little success with the outside zone stuff, then maybe this thing can get a little interesting. But dude, Florida's offense just looks so overmatched against Miami's defense. And I think Texas is right there when it comes to the argument for best defense in the country, with Oklahoma, with Miami. And I understand there's some excitement for Florida because they're supposed to get Dallas Wilson back, who's kind of the talk of the offseason for them at wide receiver. But I don't trust DJ Lagway to play well enough to make this a game. I just don't, man. So I'm gonna lay the points with Texas. Texas's program is just superior to Florida's right now. And that's kind of how I see this game. I go, hey, one program is in a great place and the other is about to hire a new coach here in the
Yeah.
next couple months. So I know that the Longhorns offense hasn't found a great rhythm, but that defense is really good, really good. And I just I don't see Florida finding it offensively all of a sudden against this Texas defense. And I won't lie, like I want Texas to win this game so that the Red River Shootout feels really big.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lay the 6.5 with the Longhorns.
Yeah. I think that's probably the smart play. Um, this doesn't this kind of feel like it's the last stand with Florida and maybe even Napier? You're
Yeah.
seeing a bunch of schools start to axe their coaches to get into the sweepstakes for who's going to get hired and where. Um, I I think that coming off a bye and hopefully getting some guys healthy and hopefully getting Lagway some more seat time and practice time, that you see Florida's best effort being at home and who they have coming in with Texas. So like this needs to be their best performance. I think Texas finds a way to win it, but I think it's going to be really low scoring. And I think Florida's going to cover the 6.5. And there's a chance if they get rolling that they can pull it off. But I'm going to take the 6.5 right now. But I'm with you. Um, I think if Texas wins, obviously it makes the OU Texas game even. I mean, it's going to be huge no matter what. But uh, I feel good with where we are. I want the stakes really high in that one. And with Florida, you feel like if they lose this game, that may be it for Napier. And I don't mind that if that happens because, throw some distraction to Ole Miss. Let Lane Kiffin have to answer a bunch of questions nonstop and let people start to talk about it. My ask of OU Twitter is if that's the case, big disinformation campaign. Throw all kinds of rumors and stuff at Ole Miss fans before we finally match up with them.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I just looked at it. Total for this game,
Like
41
41.
and a half.
Yeah, low.
Low, low.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think I would pick the under on that. And in a game that you think's going to be low scoring and you can get 6.5, I'll take it in this one.
Fair. All right, moving on to the next game. This is the game I'm most excited about this weekend. Number 16 Vanderbilt travels to Tuscaloosa to take on number 10 Alabama. This will be 2:30 on ABC. Bama is currently a 10.5 point favorite. Alabama coming off the massive win at Georgia, where, let's be real, hey, they looked like Bama. Vandy coming in with the most confidence maybe in the history of the program. Like, this is going to be fun.
I can't wait for it. And it's the perfect mix of Alabama coming off a big emotional win. Um, Vanderbilt's not going to sneak up on them though after what happened a year ago and how good they've looked. Um, but Vanderbilt's more than just Pavia. Like he's great and he's what drives that football team. I mean, what he brings on the offensive side and kind of the chaos that he plays with, the gunslinger, like he ain't going to be scared. He's going to go in there ready to roll and but you can't sleep on the rest of this Vanderbilt football team. I think their defense is played really well, really solid. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. It's a 10.5 point spread. In my opinion, that's too much. Give me Vandy and the points.
I'm with you. And no, there's a couple reasons, but one main reason. Diego Pavia believes in his soul that they're going to go and win this game. I haven't heard him say that, but I know that's what he thinks. And his belief in himself and his team like makes me believe in Vanderbilt. Now, there's also Vandy's offense is legit. They've been lighting up the scoreboard, and a lot of the issues that Alabama had in the opener against Florida State with that rushing attack, Vandy does very similar things from a scheme perspective, and they're really difficult to defend, dude.
Yep.
So, and I know they just beat Georgia, but I haven't forgot what I watched in that opener against Florida State. Vandy's got solid backs. They've got Diego Pavia and what he can do with his legs. I think Vandy's as fit as they've ever been to match up at the line of scrimmage as well. I'm taking the 10.5 with Vandy because I think if Vandy can find something in a run game, they can really reduce the number of possessions in this game, really shorten this thing, and build some tension there for the crowd in Tuscaloosa. Like if you look up and this thing is 10-7 or 7-3 at halftime, and Bama's had the ball 3 times, things are going to start getting a little uncomfortable there in Tuscaloosa. And like that's how Vandy has to go win this. I don't think they can go and have it be a high scoring affair like it was a year ago. I think they need to take it the opposite way. Like, let's make this a slow, low scoring, uncomfortable game for the Tide.
That's how it was last year. They were playing keep away, and yeah, I think that's a good path to victory for them. And the ghost of disasters past, Johnny Manziel's going to be over on Vandy's sideline wearing a Pavia jersey. So that's just going to bring an extra little element to it. I mean, I, whatever you say about the football game, it's two really good teams going at it, but the entertainment factor that Pavia brings and just kind of the buzz around him, it's going to make this can't miss football.
He's one of the most entertaining players to watch, not only in college, but like all of football.
Yep.
I love watching the guy. And there's been a lot of discussions about Bama's motivation because of what happened a year ago, but I'm more concerned with them just having to reset, wipe the slate clean, and recover from that game against Georgia.
Yeah.
It was a physical game, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's tough to bounce back from a game of that magnitude.
And, they put a lot of emphasis on that one. Not that they're sleeping on Vandy, but being pissed off about last year, all that does is get you amped up running out of the tunnel. You have to play responsibility football against Vanderbilt. So I think if Alabama's super amped coming into this one, it can almost work against you with how Pavia operates. So can't wait. This is a big one. I know it's going to be difficult in the second half of the Kent State game not to have one eye on the television, see what's going on in some of these other games.
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll be laser focused on calling the game. I do love the quarterbacks in this game. I think Pavia is arguably, right there with Mateer when it comes to just the most entertaining player in college football. You probably put Lenora Sellers like on his best day as well. Like the most entertaining quarterbacks in the sport.
You never know what you're going to get on every snap.
It's just fun, man. And then Ty Simpson has quickly become one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the passing game. The dude can sling it. Like their play action concepts, I'm a big, big fan. But Vandy, if they want a chance, in this game, they have to limit the explosive plays in the passing game for Alabama. They can't let Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams rip off 40, 50s, 60s. That just can't happen. And if I'm Clark Lee and that staff, I'm taking I'm thinking long and hard about just playing some deep zone coverage in between the 25s, man. Keeping everything in front of me. Hey, make them execute snap after snap after snap. And if it turns into a game of red zone roulette, then so be it. But you cannot give up explosives if you're Vandy's defense in this game. You just can't do it. That is how this thing gets out of hand. Is they give up 40-yard plays, 50-yard plays, 35-yard plays to those wide receivers for the Tide. Like you have to eliminate that if you're Vandy and you want to have a chance in this game.
Isn't it crazy how the roles have kind of flipped? Like Vandy, you think they need to line up, run it, possess the football. And in my opinion, Alabama needs to spread Vanderbilt out and throw it around the yard. Just kind of fascinating. You wouldn't have expected that 2, 3, 4 years ago that would be the game plan role reversal in this football game.
College football is weird like that.
It's crazy.
All right, let's move on to our last game. Number 3, Miami heads to Tallahassee to take on number 18, Florida State. This will be 6:30 on ABC. And this line smells fishy.
Yeah.
Miami currently a 4.5-point favorite. Ted, this is a massive game in the ACC that has lost a little of its sizzle with Florida State's loss to Virginia last week, but still a big one. And while Florida State was losing to Virginia, Miami was at home resting with the bye week. I was pretty surprised when I saw what this line looked like. And maybe I shouldn't be because I know how difficult it is to play at Doak Campbell. It's a really tough place to play. I've done it. Not easy. Loudest stadium I ever played in. But I just don't think Florida State can hang with Miami at the line of scrimmage. I think this is going to be a relatively one-sided game. The only way Miami doesn't walk out of there with a double-digit victory, in my mind, is if Carson Beck just turns it over. Which
he's done.
Isn't the craziest thing to think may happen, but I just think Miami's had extra time to prepare. Cristobal's going to have those guys focused. I love Miami at 4.5. Like, yeah, I'll lay the 4.5 with the team that I think is much more talented at pretty much every position on the field.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to me with Miami. Player wise, they have some of the best talent at different spots in all of college football. I mean, Bain is incredible. I love watching that dude play.
They are not going to be able to block that guy.
I
They're
don't
just
know
not.
that I don't know that you can in college football. He's different. I think Florida State wins the game.
My eyebrows almost just got singed off.
I
That's
know.
the hottest take I've heard in quite some time.
It's red hot, and I don't have a whole lot to back it up. I think Miami to me is a team that goes out and out athletes you. And that could be a problem against a team like Florida State. I mean, give Castellanos his due. He's made some incredible plays, scrambling around, creating, making stuff happen. I think that's the key to beating a team like Miami. If you're on schedule and they can cover for, 2, 3, 4 seconds, the traditional route concepts and the ball's coming out, that's where they're best. If you break it down and get outside, extend plays, I think they're going to find several explosive plays against Miami. Now, Bain may ruin all of that by chasing him down, but um, I think coming off, I think there was a little bit of maybe Florida State getting ahead of themselves with the Alabama win, putting it on cruise control. I think the loss to Virginia may have actually done something good for that football team, and maybe all of this is just the dumbest pick, and Miami goes out. I I still have a very hard time trusting Miami. Okay, I'm for the longest time I've been pounded with Miami's going to be really good this year. It's happening. This is the year. And it looks like this is finally it, but I don't know. I still have a low level of trust, and I think Florida State being at home is a actually a really big factor in this. I mean, Miami, they haven't had to play in any type of atmosphere like this at all. We haven't seen what they're going to be like in a hostile environment. So, dumb pick of the week. Give me Florida State and the points.
Losing to Virginia and then turning around and beating Miami would be so college football.
Oh yeah.
But
I, when the opportunity presents yourself, sometimes you just have to roll with the chaos theory.
I I just don't see it happening. I don't think Florida State's going to be able to run the ball at all
Yeah,
against Miami. I've been underwhelmed by their offensive line, and I think Miami's defensive line has an argument as the best unit in the country. Making a Florida State offense have to throw with Tommy Castellanos back there, I don't think it's a recipe for success. I guess if he can just throw some up to Deuce Robinson and that guy can go make plays and produce some explosive that way, then okay, maybe that makes things a little more interesting. But I I like Miami a lot. I don't know if Florida State can shut down Mark Fletcher and make Carson Beck playing a bunch of second and long and third and long situations. So I everything points to Miami in this game, which is probably why you're picking Florida State.
pretty much. That's pretty much all I have
They
to
Florida
work
State's
with.
got some guys at the skill spots that can produce explosives. Not really
They
in
do.
the backfield, but you got Deuce Robinson. Dancy can absolutely fly. Squirrel White can make plays if he's still alive, if he survived the stampede there in Charlottesville.
Has anyone done a wellness check yet? Have we got an update on that?
I I have not heard anything, which makes me think Squirrel's just fine. He's not like one of those
Virginia,
squirrels you see in the neighborhood smushed on the pavement.
for the rest of the year, they need to do a chalk outline over there in the end zone where he was laying when he rushed the field. Uh, I okay. My overall theory right now in college football is everyone is way closer. Like we still view college football through kind of the old prism where you got a large separation in like kind of the tiers. You got the teams that are head and shoulders above the rest. I just don't think that's the case, at least up to this point through the season. I think teams, with all the changes we see every year, I think teams hit their stride way later in the year when everything starts to click. And at this point, I still think that we're at the point where everyone is somewhat level. But that being said, if Miami can go in and get this win against Florida State and play a good, sharp football game and look like they are well organized, disciplined, they'll make a believer out of me.
All right. Can't wait to watch it now. Can't believe you said Florida State's going to
The
win. That's
onus is on you, Miami.